Hello everybody, it's your girl Misty Dawn. This is Moments with Misty and this is a Q&A. You ask the questions and I answer them so that you can get to know me just a little bit better. For the first question, it starts off from Charity Moore. She says, if you could spend the day with one person still alive, who would it be and why? I would pick my friend Lori Hunter because I grew up with her in school and we walked to school every day at Madison. And I miss her. I haven't got to see her face in like forever. So I would love to just hang out with her and just do whatever she does during the day. I think it would be so much fun and we would laugh and talk and it would be great. And maybe she could teach me a little bit more about art because she is a great artist. The second question Charity asks is, if you could be any place in the world, where would you go? Oh, Charity, I would go to Mexico. It's beautiful there. I did a project for college and I had to find, it was like geology. So it's like you study rocks. So I picked this place in Mexico and I think it's called Playa del Carmen. And they have these cenotes that you can swim in. But you swim in these caves and the rocks are gorgeous and you're swimming. Mexico's up here and you're swimming down there. I'm like, oh my goodness, it was the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen. And Mexico has some of the beautifulest beaches I've ever seen. The scenery is gorgeous. So I would love to be in Mexico because it's just a gorgeous place to be. Plus, a little secret, the men are beyond beautiful. Sorry. I dated a few a few Spanish men in my day, and oh my, they are easy on the eyes. Very hard on the heart, but easy on the eyes. She also says, if talent, money, and ability were not a problem, what occupation would you do and why? Well, Charity, that's kind of a tough one for me because I have two passions in my life. Two very big passions in my life. And they kind of branch off. One passion I've had, and I've had since I was wee little, is music. I was told that I would not talk, but I would sing songs. Songs would come on the radio and I would sing right along with them, but I would never speak a word until I was like 3 or 4, and then you couldn't get me to shut up, and I'm still talking too much. So I would be a vocalist. I would probably play the guitar because I love acoustic guitar, just love the way it sounds. So probably play the guitar and sing. And it might be gospel music because I think gospel music, some of it's really beautiful. And I would sing bluegrass. And I would try to learn some Celtic songs because, oh my goodness, those Celtic ladies that were on TV, oh my goodness, those songs are just great. Plus I heard some in The Walking Dead. I love that TV show. And it just really turned me on to it. It's really a good thing. The second passion that I have is mortuary science. So I would want to be an undertaker because I want to serve the families of my community in their time of need. Now, being an undertaker is a big thing, and I think that it's a great honor to be chosen to give that last glimpse to glory, as I like to call it, to a family. Being asked to prepare their loved one for that last glimpse and help plan the homegoing service. So there would be like two passions. It would be a conflicting thing. So that's why I can't pick like exactly one. But I know music is my heart. And then I have another thing, which is mortuary science, and postmortem photography follows that. And it's just because I've got all this stuff going. So I hope that answers your questions, Charity. And thank you so much for asking. Now, Buddy Montgomery, he asked, if you could be anyone else for one day, who would you be and why? I would be Betty Davis. hands down, because he didn't say alive or dead, I would be Betty Davis. Because this woman did not take any crap from anyone. No one whatsoever. No one. She had her standards. She did what she did. She lived her life the way she lived her life. And she was like, F you to everyone else. She didn't care. It was no skin off her nose. And I loved the way she thought. I just loved it. She was funny. She was outgoing. She was to the point and blunt. And if you didn't like it, well, the hell with you. And if you weren't her friend, oh well, she didn't care. But if you were her friend and she took a shining to you, you were her friend forever. And she adored you till the day she died. She was a really good woman. People just thought she had bug eyes and she wasn't the pretty one. And she knew that she wasn't the most gorgeous one or the leading lady. She used to say, I'll never get the, Clark Gables or any of those or be cast any of those parts because I'm the little brown wren. But she knew what it was. And she told him, whatever. She did what she had to do to feed her family. And I love her steadfast forthrightness. Now, the second part of Buddy's question is tell us what you think your experience would be in others' eyes. I think they'd be in awe of me because I have an intermittent backbone. I'll say to somebody that, they've been treating me badly, I'll stand up to them and then I'll be like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, offend you. When they really hurt me. And I didn't do anything to them except for fight back. So they would be like, where did this Misty come from? I think they would see me as finally taking hold of my life. And maybe I should take some pointers from Betty Davis because, like I said, she didn't take no crap. She took a hold of her life like a bull by the horns, and she lived it. Did what she wanted, and that was that. Nobody liked it, didn't matter. It was her life, she paid her bills, she did her thing, and everybody else could kiss her butt. So I hope that helped you and answered your question, buddy. JD asked, when are you going to record your CD? Well, JD, that takes funding. Or someone who's willing to back me, support me, sponsor me, whatever the word is. If somebody has a recording studio and they're willing to, let me record there, that's awesome. I would love to do a CD full of covers, maybe old hymns, because I am in love with old hymns like Walk With Me and Amazing Grace, of course, How Great Thou Art, different ones. Love them. So I would do a CD. So if anybody out there on YouTube Land and all of that wants to sponsor me or help me get that CD put out, let me know. Because I will definitely graciously accept your offer. I just have to be here in Ohio because I don't have any transportation to go anywhere else. So I hope that answers your question, JD. So maybe that'll get the ball rolling. Maybe you know someone, JD? You are a musician too, my dear. Next on the list, we have Johnson Mortuary. And they ask, why are you our number one fan? Well, Derek and Dre, my darlings, I am your number one fan because back when MySpace was a big thing, I stumbled across your MySpace page. Now, mind you, my granny had just passed away. She was my last string to Mansfield. All of my immediate family was gone that, lived here. I have two aunts in Alabama and an uncle in Columbus, an uncle in Kansas, And I have cousins scattered around, mostly in Alabama, one in Florida, but I don't get to see them. And I don't get to talk to them very often. So to me, I was all alone. And that was kind of the truth. I am all alone here in Ohio. And I stumbled across and I was like, funeral directors? And I'd already been thinking about being a funeral director, just because I had worked in a funeral home some years before as a receptionist, as an office manager. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to check these guys out. And I played your video. And the way that you did the funeral and the way that you sang that song that you wrote, I fell madly head over heels in love. That second, I had to put you on my page. I had to talk to you. I had to pick your brain. I had to make you guys my friends. I just had to. There was no getting around it. None. That night, your video, pulled me out of what I considered the gutter, because it filled my heart up with joy. Because I thought, if my grandparents and my parents' funerals would have been done like that, because you came in with them on your shoulders, with the deceased casket on your shoulders, singing, celebrating their life like that. I was in awe, because in Ohio, that just doesn't happen. You go to calling hours, you pay your respects, you go to the service the next day. Everybody files out of the room, they close the casket, you put it in the hearse, you go to the graveyard, you have a 20-minute service, and then everybody leaves, you put them in the ground, it's done. You go have chicken. That's it. And then you're left grieving, and you're like, what just happened? It was bad enough when they died, this is even worse. But you guys celebrate, and you do this march, and it is elegant. It is classy. It has style and grace. And I am in awe of the people that you have, your staff, your lady undertakers. Oh my gosh. They are dressed so beautifully. And you helped me pick my direction in college by being my friend and letting me pick your brain, because I would call you or text you and ask a question or get a hold of you on MySpace. And then when Facebook became big, I'd get a hold of you on Facebook, and you always have an answer for me. And I adore that about you. That's why I'm your number one fan, and everybody that works with you and for you and everyone, because you guys are awesome and you project that professionalism that is really needed, that I don't really see here. The fact that the families that you care for, their loved ones actually look like they're just asleep. They don't look plastic. They don't look like they are, I don't know what the word is to describe it, but they look really good. I have to admit that I used Warner for funeral service for my dad and my grandmother, and then the owner of Warner Funeral Services here in Mansfield actually was the one who did my mother when she passed away in 95, and they all looked very good, because he's very good at what he does, and they all looked very good. But I'm just in awe of you guys. You're living the dream. You really are. And you're teaching others that are underneath you how to do that. And I know I'm pretty late in the game so far, but you inspire me every single day with your families and your life. You're great. So that's why I'm your number one fan. And with that question, I will make a part 2. I hope that did answer your question. I love you guys dearly. and get ready for part 2. I love you. Mwah. Goodbye, my darlings.